Hey guys, I'm Joel. If you haven't seen my last video, I started my E30 for the first time. If you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend you go back and watch it because you can get caught up on everything. What happened at the end of that video, I forgot. I didn't mean to leave it on such a cliffhanger, but the video was already so long, so I didn't want to keep it pushing. All that happened was the fuel line popped off and the hose clamp was tight still. So the hose clamp just failed under the pressure and it popped off. So I'm gonna change these two hose clamps and it's gonna be fine. But yeah, it was no big deal. But I did forget that I gave no context. I'm gonna change out these two clamps. If I pull this off, I'm pretty sure it'll just, yeah. Oh shit. That hose clamp is tight. I'm just gonna throw these stainless steel hose clamps on before I forget. Two new clamps and a brand new fuel filter just cause I got everything behind the fender zip tied up to the chassis so that it doesn't rub through anywhere. Got another zip tie there. And so it doesn't get caught into the wheel. Up here I got this bracket on so I can put the fender on and officially hide all these wires for good. There we go, the radiator support is fully bolted in. Before the intercooler goes in, I gotta make sure I install the hood latch while I have the room. Here we go, it's installed. My skid plate mounts to the radiator support with this sandwich plate. Drill some holes through the radiator support and then this plate goes on top. Nice and easy. And then I just bolt this up and it's mounted. Intercooler and radiator support are now installed. This fender can go on since I'm done back here. I just washed this expansion tank in the sink. I didn't run any soap through the inside, just water. But soap on the outside, looks pretty good now. Damn, I love being able to put something on the car and step back and finally get a shot of the car because I have the space for it. In my old garage, I had no room to do this, but now with the ABS deleted, this corner is so much cleaner. I put the bolt for this ground through the other side. I might paint this black just so that it blends in, but it's not too bad. And then also the wires for the relay are barely even visible because of the expansion tank, which is very good. I got the engine and everything all covered up because my radiator mounts, I didn't know if I was gonna be keeping them or not, because if I was gonna have the pusher fan in, then I was gonna need to reuse these mounts, but I'm switching over to a puller fan, so I'm gonna have to re-weld these mounts on. But cutting them out is a nightmare. It makes such a mess. So I got this all covered up and hopefully we can get these out. On this side, I have just that weld on the back that I'm gonna try and just grind out. But on this side, I really made it hard for myself because I welded on the sides too, which it would have been nice to do this before, but yeah, I didn't know what I was gonna be running. I'm gonna show this video that I took yesterday while I was fitting the E-fan because there's not a lot of room. This is why I didn't know what I was gonna be running, and it's very close, but I think I can make it work, so that's why I'm committing to cutting this bracket off and making it fit. But it's so tight that I have to move the radiator back because I had to make room for the pusher, so I had to get the radiator as close as possible to the crank. But now I'm doing the opposite. I'm getting the radiator as far away from the crank as possible to fit a fan in between. That's one down. I came in with this little grinder, got around all the edges, and that is what the frame rail looks like. So I can clean that down and get it nice and smooth. Here we go. And there they are. I'm so happy I got that done. The hardest step was just starting. I was dreading that for so long because of how much of a mess it makes. So I just started by grabbing the plastic and just throwing it on the engine. And then once that happened, I was like, you know what? This isn't too bad. And then that's always how it goes. Overthinking everything until you just start and then you're like, oh, it's not that bad. I got the radiator in now. And it looks like I'm gonna be able to use the factory bushings that the E30 radiator uses. The radiator is sitting right over those brackets. So I'm hoping I'll be able to use those factory mounts. Those are both in. No, I'm good. So the radiator just sitting on the factory E30 mounts down there is a little bit too short because this is a Z3M radiator from the S54 version. So it's a little bit shorter height wise. So I need to get a bigger grommet on the bottom. I'm probably gonna buy just a piece of rubber to kick up the whole radiator, and I won't have to weld to the chassis or do anything, so I could take this plastic off. All of that dust is contained in here and I can just throw this out. While I wait for new rubber mounts for the radiator, I'm gonna relocate my fuel pressure regulator. I always had it up here temporarily because I couldn't find anywhere else to put it, but I wanna get the M3 cover that covers the whole firewall, and it's just a big piece of plastic that goes over and blocks everything, and it makes it look so much cleaner. So I wanna move this fuel pressure regulator down to right there. I wanna make a mount off of these two bolts so that I can hopefully have that thing fit in there, and yeah, I'm gonna take it apart and see how it looks bolted up there. I'm marking these so that I can put it under the intake manifold and I won't forget. And I'll know exactly where they go. That would be so annoying. Oh shit. I'm putting a bolt in the fuel line so that it won't spray all over my block and wire harness and everything. So let's see if this thing fits here. If I put the fitting on the right side, it might be better. I don't know. Damn, that's so crammed. I don't know if it'll fit there. This is where I'm at with the bracket. I have the bolt holes pressed in. I just push the cardboard against the holes on the throttle body and the bracket just comes in and it's gonna fit right there. And it's gonna hold my fuel pressure regulator there. So I'm gonna cut these holes and see what that looks like.
I found this on the web.
There's where the fuel pressure regulator is gonna sit roughly. So I can start making it in metal now. The piece of metal that I cut out fits perfectly on this cardboard, and I just lined it up with the bolt holes right now, and I can see that this top bolt hole is going to be dead center, but the bottom one has a little wiggle room, so I'm going to just drill the first one out, and then I'll do the same method of lining up the metal. There we go, that 1/4 inch hole is the perfect size to fit the 10 mil bolt. So if I could just have both bolts line up perfectly like that, I think it'll be best. I actually need to trim down a little bit on this because it's hitting on the throttle body. I'm just gonna trim a little bit down right there. There we go, trimmed a little bit off. Let's see if it fits better. There we go. Yeah, it does fit better. I just wanted more movement, and that allowed me to do that. I got the bracket all bolted up, and it's actually not as in the way as I thought it was gonna be. It's sitting almost flat on the intake manifold. It's level with the bottom of the manifold and top, so it's pretty good. And then bolted up, it kicks towards the manifold a little bit. And now with the fuel pressure regulator on, it's gonna be something like that. And then I'm gonna change this fitting to the right, and I think it'll be perfect right here. These fuel pressure regulators use ORB fittings, and that is just a fitting that has an O-ring on it. So it's not like a normal fitting. I was having a whole lot of issues with this leaking because I had the wrong fitting a few years ago. These have that little O-ring in there, and I can just swap them around and put it in this way. There we go, I have that marked there, dead center where I want it. I'm gonna take the coating off of these nuts so I can weld them to the back of this plate too. The first one is on. I'm gonna do the same thing to the second one now. Missed! God damn it. This one I fucked it up. Damn it! Here we are, all said and done. I got the back nuts welded on, and got a little messy on that one, but who cares? It's gonna be hidden. Now I need to make sure that this nut isn't gonna hit on the intake manifold when it's fully installed.
That's why for them it's minimal risk.
The nut behind is hitting on the manifold exactly how I thought it would. So I'm gonna give it just a tiny little bend over here because I could see a little bit of the gasket up here. So I'm scared that this is preventing that bolt from fully tightening down the throttle body. So I wanna make sure that this is 100% not touching so that the gasket is 100% good.
Ended up fucking the whole thing up.
Also, I'm gonna mark the bottom so that I can notch it too. Now that I know it's gonna fit, I can take this off and it's gonna make it way easier to take this out. I'm gonna give it just a few taps, hopefully not too much. That has a tiny little kick to it. Let's see. It looks like that did the trick because on the back we're clear. So this is actually super clean now. Damn, it's like the perfect distance away. I really like this. Let me cut this bottom out now. I'm gonna paint the bracket with some Wrinkle Plus. The instructions say to give it a very light coat first, just so that it can have something to hold on to, and then spray thick layers on after. So I'm gonna try and do that. Damn, it shoots so thick though. What the fuck? Alright, just a little bit on there. I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit, and then we're gonna attack this with some pressure. Because it says it needs 3 heavy coats for it to actually wrinkle up. Alright, let's see. That's pretty good. Alright, now I'm gonna wait 5 minutes and then put another coat on. Coat number 2. Now I'm gonna change up the direction. number 2. I'm gonna let it sit for 5 more minutes. I'm gonna hold on to it, and then the last coat finally. It just started raining. It's not the best to paint when it's raining, but whatever. All right, that's done. The Connecticut plate is officially done. It's been like 30 minutes. I'm gonna hit it with a heat gun and see if it wrinkles up. That just wrinkled up on both sides all at once. That's crazy. And that's what it looks like. Damn, I love how that looks. It came out so clean. And it has that little bend in it too. It's perfect. I'm gonna let this sit overnight just so when I bolt it in, it doesn't get scuffed up. It's the next day now, and the paint looks so good. The wrinkle worked so well. The only thing I'm scared about is that this thing is gonna be impossible to keep clean because all the texture that it has, it's gonna just absorb so much dirt. We will see. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. It says wait 48 hours for it to fully dry and before mounting it up. So I'm gonna do that, and hopefully it doesn't chip then. But once that's in, look at that. It blends in so well. It matches the intake manifold. Not perfectly, but very close. I think the saga is coming to a close of me having to worry about my E-fan situation. I've always had this pusher fan, and you can see it was rubbing on my intercooler because it was so thick. It would just be sitting between the intercooler. The intercooler was smashing into the bumper, and then that E-fan was between the radiator and here. So it never really fit. It was just loose in there. And I always wanted to get a permanent situation, and I think this was the permanent situation. So with this part number fan, Spal 16-inch, it's a puller now, and I'm gonna have it in front of the engine. So the good news is I had this fan against the radiator, and I can pull it out as an entire unit. So with it as a unit, that means I could just zip tie not actually with zip ties, with those actual mounts. I can mount my radiator and my fan all as one unit. Look at that, I just slid it in, no problem. What? That's amazing. So it's gonna be as easy as that, which is a beautiful sight for me. And now I need to figure out the exact location that it's gonna sit at so that this water pump stud is far away. All right, I think that's exactly where I want it. I'm gonna try and keep it exactly where it is. Please, please, it fucking moved. What the fuck am I stuck on? Oh, the wire, bro. I got stuck on the fucking wire, so I gotta restart. Oh my God. I closed my eyes, meditated a little bit, and I found an even better place to mount it. A little higher up. There we go. And exactly where it is where it's going in. I got this kit on Amazon. If it works well, it's gonna be in the description. It's just gonna be some nylon lock rods that are gonna slide through the radiator. I'm using this method because I don't know of another way to hold the fan in such a specific spot, because it has to be dead perfect right here. So I only feel comfortable doing it with this, weirdly enough. I'm gonna put these sticky pads on these. Then I have this pad. I need to use some of this too between the radiator. Yeah, this is definitely for this. I'm gonna poke all of these rods through fins, so in between two of them. I just wanna start it so I know exactly where it is that the fan sits. Now I'm gonna just cut little pieces of this pad out to go around the hole. That little thing should be perfect. Perfect. There we go. Since I already marked where the holes are, I can be more sloppy with picking up the fan. Shit, maybe instead of, I should fix this wire before I fully mount it. I should definitely do that. Small stuff like this is what's so annoying when you do little changes and you don't expect for it to mess up your setup. But now that the radiator is sitting lower, the lower radiator hose is now too short, and I don't like how it's not sitting fully, and it's still not really sitting fully. Like, it's pulling the radiator up and off of these mounts, and if it does that, it's gonna allow the radiator to move and potentially touch something that's moving. So I definitely need a new radiator hose just to make sure that the radiator stays down where it's supposed to be. I got another soldering iron off of Amazon because I think my other one was wrong, and it was why I was struggling so much to solder before. Hopefully this works a little better. I'm gonna cut it about here. I'll get at least 2 chances if I want to use this fan again, which that's more than enough. So now this wire is gonna be super long, which is convenient because I've always had a really short E-fan wire. So this is panning out to be really good. I'm never gonna be using these clips again, so I'll cut it. On the clip it says that blue is positive, so keep that in mind. I didn't even realize this is pretty fucking AIDS. Why does the red go to the black and brown goes to red? Oh, because I had that fan backwards. I changed the polarity on that fan so that it would push instead of pull. Pretty sure. I didn't know that I did that. Damn, I forgot that I did that. I don't think that changes anything. I think I just have to put this one to the blue. And then this is just the ground. I just connected it to the car again to see where the power actually came from. Power right here is coming from my fan relay, which is right here. And then this fan relay is getting that power from over here. That same thick red wire is literally this one right here. So it goes all the way through to my E-fan, and then the relay controls that signal. Once this relay gets 12 volts from my ECU, it sends that 12 volts from the battery straight to my E-fan. Brown one is just the ground, and then I didn't even have to extend this green wire because I'm not using it. It was a waste, but whatever. So in conclusion, the blue wire is gonna get this black one, which turns into this red one. Get this heat shrink on there, and let me not forget it this time. On both of them. The soldering iron is on. It has a little screen on it, which is cool. I know you're supposed to come in from up top, but how is it supposed to heat up that much? Oh, I don't have the paste on it. Bruh. I need to heat this shit up. Put that shit on max temperature for this thicker wire. Hopefully this works. Damn! Shit is hot as hell. Hold up. Yo, that looks crazy. Holy shit, it's getting so hot. It's just getting so hot, but it's not melting. What the fuck? I kind of started getting the hang of it. I had way too much solder on the tip, so I just gotta put a little bit on there and let the whole wire heat up, which is crazy. This thing definitely gets it hotter than my other soldering iron that I was using. I don't like getting the wires this hot, but I guess that's what soldering is, because there's no other way to do it. It's even melting the insulation back over here, which kind of sucks, but there we go. Finally. Once it gets up to temp, I think that's good. I don't know. The bottom has like no coverage though. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't know how that wire showed up on the outsides, but at least it's somewhat solid on the top, but not really that solid on the bottom. Whatever. I'm just putting this heat shrink on. I actually forgot, maybe that bottom one wasn't so good because I didn't reapply the flux. Because the flux lets it heat up a lot faster, I think. I'm gonna just tin it a little bit, not too much. And hope for the best. I think it's getting too hot. Is it getting too hot? I think so. I need to look this up. It's not spreading out through the wire. It's just getting so hot that it's falling right through the wire. Soldering is definitely a skill. You can definitely be bad at soldering, because this is pretty difficult. According to Chris Fix, you can just use your fingers, which I don't know why I didn't think of that. I always waste so much time trying to learn how to fucking solder, and it just doesn't work, yo. This is so annoying. I changed the tip because I think it was oxidized because I went too hot, but I looked it up and now it says from 650 to 700 degrees for lead-free solder. Gotta feed a little bit from under it so I could start it, but this shit is just hating on me, yo! That's as good as it's getting. I cannot spend another minute on this. This has me going crazy because I can't get it, but whatever. I'm just gonna forget that ever happened. I pulled on them to make sure they're not loose and they didn't come out, so. I tested it in the car and it fit, so I put the tester tape all over it, but I did put faith in it working, so let's see if it works. Just connect the E-fan real quick. Now if I go over to the ECU and give it signal to turn on the fan, it should turn on. Ready? What the fuck? It's not working. I looked down the relay pin and it wasn't up all the way. It was kind of pushed down and it did have 12 volts there. So I just pushed it back in and now I need to make sure that the relay doesn't push the clip down and that it actually clips in. Here we go. Just use some pliers to push the pin on. I don't know why it wouldn't go on, but let's see if it'll work now. Let's go! That is so beautiful. So I know that this wire came out at this plug because it was the closest one towards the crank. It doesn't sit flat, but I guess it doesn't have to because it holds it in pretty good. Even with no backing clip, all of them are getting held in. Like I'm pulling on it and it's not even coming out and there's nothing on the back of him. Now since it's pretty held in, I'm gonna drop it in the car and see how it fits. There we go, it's in all the way. The bolt on the water pump was hitting on the fan, so I just had to wiggle it in. And it's close. It is super close. I'm gonna connect the E-fan and try and turn it on again. Actually, fuck that shit. And over at the computer, I go to the outputs channel and I'm just at the test panel. I click on, the fan turns on. When I click off, the fan turns off. There we go. The fan is officially fully mounted. I think it's solid. I hope it's solid. There we go. I think I can fully install this now and not have to take it out. Damn, this feels crazy. Finally. What the hell? I was expecting this to fight me like crazy. There we go. Radiator is in. This hose from Napa, part number 8484, is the universal 24 valve hose. Or kind of sort of any hose that you need for a radiator that is within this range. You can trim it down, which is what I'm gonna do because it's way too long right now. But I did measure from the center of the hole right here, up here was 12.5 inches. This first on the internet. I got the bottom radiator hose in. It's not in the way of anything. It is touching on the Oh no, it's not touching on the tensioner. Yeah, it's fully good to go. That's good. I cut this wire that goes from my engine harness to the back of my dash because I have a full interior in there. So I'm just gonna splice in a little connector in right about there. There we go. There is a connection in there and it's nice and hidden away. So if anyone sees it, it's not even noticeable. I use these two things. It's just a male and a female and connected them together. Now I can tuck this down under the intake manifold. I got these two M6 Allen bolts. I got them a little longer just to be cautious because I don't want the bolt to come out through the back and hit the intake manifold. So I'm gonna trim these down and make sure that everything fits nice and well. I make sure to put a nut on there so that when I take the nut off, it cuts into the threads, or else it'll be really hard to start threads on that. Ooh, it's hot. All mauled up like that. I'm gonna just match the second one. There we go. Those are now matching. I can go install these in. There we go. The fuel pressure regulator is installed now. I had to take both fittings off to actually get into those bolts, but let's see how it looks like. Since my fuel pressure is between 40 and 50, I might try and turn this whole gauge. Oh shit. It turned by hand. What the fuck? Okay, well, that is where it's gonna sit, I guess. Before I can install the fuel pressure regulator, I want to take the throttle body out and clean it up since I didn't do it before the first startup. Time to clean this throttle body up now that I actually have the cleaner to do it. I'm using some of this throttle body cleaner just because I don't want to accidentally mess it up if I use something too aggressive like this parts washer. So I'm going to just use the cleaner. It's meant for it. Oh my god, it smells crazy. That is a crazy amount of oil. Damn. I'm gonna lightly touch the fins. I don't wanna be too aggressive on it because I don't know where these things fail from cleaning, but people use toothbrushes, so I'm hoping that this shop towel is like kind of the same thing as a toothbrush because I'm not putting any pressure on it at all. I'm just touching it. This is about as clean as I could get it. That throttle body cleaner, I sprayed it over the floor and then I stepped in it and it was sticky. So apparently it is different. It's not like brake cleaner, but it's very clean in the inside, just not that clean on the outside. But that's whatever. I can finally install this. Snaking the throttle cable on. Make sure that this sits in all the way. Now I can push this little thing in. Look at how broken this throttle cable is. It's always how it's been. Here we go. It's solid. Yeah. Seeing this fuel pressure regulator mounted there fully makes me smile so much. Finally, after almost 4 years. No, it is 4 years. Damn. It's been 4 years since that fuel pressure regulator has been floating around temporarily. I think at first I had it on the tub right here in my convertible, but it was very awkward and not sitting flat. And then on this car, I always had it up there. But finally, it fits somewhere that it's just comfortable and it's not in the way of anything. I don't even need a 90 fitting right here because this just flows right over through there. I don't mind the look of that. And then the bottom hose just goes right back to the return. I turn the gauge over so that I can see it. When the car is on, it's supposed to be at around 45, I'm pretty sure. So somewhere around here. So while I'm standing up here, I can see what it's reading from a quick glance like that. I can get to the dipstick very easily. There's not, and the dipstick moves a little bit, but there's no issue there. It's completely out of the way, while also right in your face. And most importantly, it is absolutely solid. I'm so happy that slowly but surely I'm ticking off everything that I wanted to do with this car. I got the vacuum line all plumbed up. I put it above the throttle body instead of below because the throttle cable is down there. And I don't want any chance of this getting ripped by that throttle cable. That would just be a nightmare. But it's done. Finally, the fuel pressure is fully installed for good. I'm gonna throw this belt on since it's ready to go. The belt is just draped over right there, and then once I get the socket through where my finger is, tighten it up, and then it's on. Okay. Next up, I gotta change the injectors because these are the 60-pound injectors that I had installed when the engine blew up. I don't feel comfortable rerunning these injectors, and if I was gonna use them, I was gonna clean them and then run them, but I made a big upgrade. I splurged on a set of injectors, Injector Dynamics 1050s. These are gonna be able to run E85, which is the biggest difference. E85 flows a lot more fuel, so you need a way bigger injector to run the same amount of power as you would on pump gas. So because of that, I don't want to be limited by injectors. And apparently these are the best injectors on the market, which we will see. They come with these pigtails. I might do this, but I don't have a crimper that I feel comfortable enough with that makes this a solid crimp. So on Amazon, I bought these clips that are adapters for the injectors, but I don't know if I can trust these because some people say that the connection inside of them doesn't work and some people say it does, but this is such an important step of the way that I don't know if I can trust these, but we will see. I'm gonna try it at least. And then these, I didn't even test them, but I've heard people say that you need spacers for the intake manifold because apparently the hole is too small on these. So let's see, I don't know. If you guys haven't been able to notice in my videos, I really like to try the step that's not permanent first and then do the permanent one after just to see what it's like and see how it works. Building a car, there's so many things that you can do differently, and I'm trying to decide the best option for all of them, but it's hard doing this alone. That's how it sits. I don't know, I'm gonna try it out. Easy as that? Damn. So now if I come over and I don't know, it went in, but I think it went in too softly. I don't know, or too easily. What is the point of this spacer? How does this spacer go in? I have to do some research. This is crazy. I figured it out. I don't know why it was so hard for me to imagine it going up here, but that little spacer sits right there so that that O-ring, when it goes in, is going to have a very tight seal with that spacer. I'm trying to use the non-pointy side of that pick just to not mess it up, but that is how it goes. Now I got to do some research and see what kind of lube to use on these O-rings because it can't go in dry. Damn, these things look so good. This is the lubricant that I'm going to be using, silicone paste. This helps provide a film over the O-ring to make sure that the O-ring doesn't get dried out or any elements don't eat it up. So it makes it also last longer, which I didn't know about. I just looked it up. So it makes it go in easier, but it also makes it last longer and just work better overall. And silicone is the best, apparently. Please don't leak. I'm going to apply some of this onto the O-rings. There we go, I got sufficient lubricant on both O-rings. Now I can do the switcheroo. I believe that is in. There we go, one injector's in. Damn, those are gonna look so good in there. What? Let's go. So you guys know the deal. Just get some silicone on the O-rings and install all of these. There we go, this time lube is very visible, so I think this is gonna be good. Oh shit. I think that spacer is upside down because it's not going in all the way. And I don't think it's supposed to go in all the way. It might be upside down, I don't know. Yeah, Rally World, the maker of the spacers, says that they recommend wider side on the bottom, so I have them upside down. Which is kind of annoying because it already has the lube on there, but whatever. They're all flipped, and now I'm gonna get some lube on those O-rings and get this all fixed up. There we go. I think that looks a little better now. I loosened the 2 bolts on the rail to make sure I push it as much as I can into the intake manifold, because some of these clips were touching on the valve cover and it was kind of hitting on it very hard, so I'm gonna tighten it there. Yep. So with those little adapters, it's sitting so close to the valve cover. There's no way that my little beauty cover is gonna be able to fit with that there. I have to give another shout out to Dave, or Bimmer Buddies on Instagram, because he's my voice of reasoning for this build. There's so many times that he's helped me out and he's given me very good advice for continuing along this path of building this car to the perfect spec. He has a shop in Pennsylvania, so if any of you guys need BMW work done in Pennsylvania, hit him up because he knows everything about these engines and cars. It's crazy. But I just have to say thank you because he told me that he's seen a few engines blow up from using these adapters on the injectors. So sometimes they don't fire or they don't make the perfect seat and then the injector just doesn't fire. So the engine ends up blowing up because of that little ass clip. I knew that that was a possibility, but I was just in my mind saying, what are the odds that that would actually happen? And him telling me that it does happen, I'm not risking it. I'm gonna have to repin these injector wires and do it the proper way. Ugh, it's gonna take a while and be annoying, but whatever. Let's just do it the official way the first time. But the good thing is that after, this is gonna be very clean and it's just gonna be super minimalistic with just the Tessa tape into the clips. And I can delete these O2 sensor plugs because this car's on standalone and I do not need these anymore. Since the fan is confirmed to be working, I can fully tape it off and not worry about this again, finally. There we go, it's perfect. But I gotta cut the grommet for that hole. Let me do that real quick. Damn, I haven't had a new blade in so long, that just cut like butter. I cut the seam for it. This always looks like it would be easy, but it's not. Here we go, it looks so good. The grommet technique is coming in clutch. Now these wires are never gonna rub through. I'm gonna zip tie this chassis side of the wiring harness to make sure that if I want to take the fan out or the radiator out, I can undo it and not have to cut a zip tie. Why does it look like it's not gonna fit? Is this how bad it fit before? This is crazy.
I feel like angel it so it drips. One day I'm gonna slap this on my face. Pause.
Twin.
Coated. I moved weird and I was trying to reach this screw like this.
One is properly extended, now I gotta do the other one.
I don't know, yeah.
Fully extended. I need to move these clamps. I forgot. I'm pretty sure I had it with the stud coming and facing this way because the valence won't go up and sit flush because this is in the way. There we go. Let me flip that clamp around. I'm pretty sure that was the issue.
You don't need to. You got measured here 16 inches for it.
I was measuring the wires for
You're packing hot.
Chill. Measuring the wires. I'm like fucking sicko. So the bumper's untucked right now. Gotta bolt it on and then retuck it. That shit looks crazy with the untucked bumper. Damn. Damn. I think the only way to get this out is by cutting it. I cut this plastic and I think that's the way to go. Yeah, look at that. So this is the Vanos. I need to leave this.
That's fine someday.
Bless you.
I believe it.
Ah, it's so relieving not having that big ass piece of plastic. This is gonna look so much better now. This is an easy decision now to splice these in. I'm gonna cut these O2 sensor wires because this is for the factory ECU and I don't have that, so this hurts. I finally got a real pair of crimpers for these weather seal connectors. I always just did them kind of half-assed and it was always super difficult because I didn't have the proper tool, but I got it so I could go pin these injectors. The link is gonna be in the description because I already know that this thing is gonna work wonders. Now that I have the crimper, I can start getting these all done. I'm gonna cut them flush because I'm not gonna use these connectors again. Then I'm just gonna strip a 1/4 inch off of each of these wires. I'm gonna slip the little green weather thing on. That is just about the right amount of wire that's showing, and that connector is gonna get crimped right there. I don't know which one it is though. Is it an 18 to 20 gauge or 24 to 22 gauge? And then the seal. Damn, that was nice and easy. That is the official crimp. It looks so good. It's a uniform circle around the seal and then the crimp down the middle right there on the wires. I feel very confident in this crimp now. I'm using the 24 to 22 gauge. Hopefully it's the right one. I actually don't know if it is the right one, but the first injector is done. They say that the polarity of this doesn't matter, so I hope that's true. I'm just pushing it in the direction that it wants to go in. Oh, there we go. And that connector is fully installed. Damn, let's go! That's so cool. My first time ever wiring some injectors. I did it the proper way. Let's get this montage going. Clip number 2 is done. Clip number 3 is done. Injector clip number 4 is installed. Clip number 5 is in. There we go. Clip number 6 is installed. It's actually comical how easy that was. I got some zip ties on the wiring harness. I think I'm gonna leave them on just to give the whole harness some structure because it's all just loose wires and I don't want tape to be the only thing holding this together. There it is, good to go. It's gonna get a test of tape. No! What the fuck, yo? I just pulled... What? Bro, that is not good. What the fuck happened? Yo, okay. I went back and I started pulling on all the pins and 2 more came out. So 3 in total came out. First thing is I gotta pop off that little red piece on the clip. There we go, it popped up a little bit. And there we go, the red clip is out. And then on the big open part up top, put this little pin down there, and then I'll be able to just pull it out. So you can see, I didn't go back and see that the metal was folded over on this side right here. So it didn't really properly clamp down. I think I might have used the one that was too small. I'm struggling a lot to find these replacement pins. I need to order them now if I want to drive this car anytime soon. But I don't know where to find them. I don't know if I should find them on Amazon, eBay, parts store near here. I can order them, but they're gonna take a few days to get here. But I need ASAP. I'm gonna go back in right now, take all the clips off, and make sure that all the terminals are fully seated because I'm pretty sure I used the wrong one. I used this one, the 24 to 22, and I'm pretty sure I had to use the 20 to 18 because it like didn't sit properly on the back side because it wasn't big enough and it was just getting pinched and ripping the terminal. So lesson learned, start bigger on wires because smaller is not better. Here we go. And yeah, I folded all of them. Damn it! All of them got messed up. I hope you guys can see on the left side right there, that black crease is actually the terminal broken because the crimp was too small. And you can see the edge is like, it's not sitting properly. It's ripped instead of getting tucked in. Only one side of that terminal is holding down. Back when this car was driving, sometimes I would have a crazy vibration in my drivetrain and it would literally sound like a wheel was gonna fall off. And I couldn't find it and I never knew where it was. But then sometimes I would put the drive shaft back in and it'd be gone. Little did I know that there's actually a bushing inside of the drive shaft that centers the whole drive shaft with the output shaft on the transmission. And as you can see, it's completely blown out. For reference, that's my old one and this is a new one. This thing is completely blown out. So let me change this. And this is 100% gonna fix that vibration. I just didn't know that this bushing existed. So let's see, I don't know how I'm gonna get this out. I'm gonna give it a shot. That is what's left. That's why I didn't know that a bushing was in there because it's always just been a huge hole. How am I gonna get this out? Before taking the drive shaft off, I am gonna mark it again. Oh shit. This thing looks to be good still. I don't know how to take this metal bushing out. This is crazy. I even got a slide hammer with these little things to try and pull it out, but damn! I'm gonna just heat up the center part of this drive shaft right here and hope that this bushing can come out a little easier. Because this is crazy. Why is this so difficult? Why does everything fight me so fucking much, yo? I'm about to just start curb stomping this shit. Got the proper tool at AutoZone. The pilot bearing tool did not work. I hope this works. 2 pieces of 2x4. Let's see. I don't think it's doing anything. It's not grabbing on. Oh shit. I'm finally making a little bit of progress. I got this chisel and I've been hammering at it because this is the only way that this is coming out. I gotta make a seam down the middle. If I had a Sawzall that would fit in there, it would be perfect, but this is the next best thing that I could think of. It's barely holding on, but I gotta keep going. No way. I started cutting a second groove on here and it popped it. It started pushing it in a little bit. So let's see, I think it's almost out. Let's go! Yes, half of it is out. Let's fucking go! Finally! So many headaches trying to get this out and trying to figure out how to get this out and wanting to do this for so long. I've wanted to do this for so long. I'm gonna come in with some 1000 grit and clean up right here because there's a little bit of a ragged edge, so this thing got absolutely destroyed though. But it's out finally. I was getting scared that this was welded to the drive shaft, but it wasn't, thankfully. Just trying to get the high spots down. It's a good thing that I came down here and put that bushing on the transmission because it wouldn't go on, and then I flipped it around and it went in, so it does prefer to go in one way. This is the direction that the bushing goes in, not like this. There's no more high spots in there, so I can push the bushing in and hopefully have no issues. I want to be done with this so badly. That was not smooth enough. It caught an edge and it scraped it up a little bit, so I gotta hit it with more sandpaper. Nice and smooth again. It's a good thing that I checked the BMW service manual because they say to leave that 4.5 millimeter gap from the face of the bushing to the drive shaft. So here I have 4.5 millimeters. I'm gonna need to hammer it in until that 4.5 millimeters is there. I'm gonna use a little bit of grease on this. Help this thing go in a little smoother. This should not be struggling so much to go in, but whatever, bruh. So sick and tired of this. There we go. I got it as close as I can without going past 4.53. Here 4.6 and here 4.6. It looks pretty even to me, so I'm calling it good there. I don't want to hammer it too far by accident. This has been in my checklist since day one of day one. No way did I hammer this smaller. I had this on the floor when I was hammering. I think I might have ruined the size of it. No! Damn it, yo. Another oversight. Man, I am sick of this shit. I gotta wait for this to come now. Making sure that the arrows are facing towards the flange. I really do want to get new hardware. I'm gonna get OEM hardware. Just not right now. It says to tighten from the nut so that you don't twist the bolt inside of this sleeve and ruin the sleeve, so that makes a lot of sense. I got this pack on Amazon and hopefully one of these are gonna work. I need to replicate this bushing but a little bigger, and I think these two are gonna work absolutely perfect. One's bigger than the other, which works out because the radiator is naturally sitting a little lower over here. I don't know why, but if I install these there, I think this could work. The bigger one here and then the smaller one over there. Yeah, I don't know. I got it to where it wanted to be and I pushed down on both of them. Now where that mark is where I'm gonna drill the hole on both of them.
Of course.
This shit's crazy. I only want to go this deep, so I'm gonna put some tape on the drill bit. Going slow is definitely the move. Yeah. Oh man, that looks pretty good too. Let's get this other one on. Okay, so this one doesn't really do much. I should have drilled to the side and offset it like I did this one because the offset looks like it worked. It's holding it nice and tight to the radiator support. And I'm pushing in on it and it's not going in anymore. That is definitely pretty good. I feel good about that. I don't think that radiator is going anywhere. Oh shit, I haven't ran brake fluid through any of this new system, so I have no idea if there's gonna be any leaks But now's the time to see if there is. Now what I like to do is get one of these hoses. I don't know what size this is. I got it a long time ago, but it's sized right on there. It's not going to allow any air to go back into the valve because this thing is creating a seal. All right, pump it. Since I have the line on there, I think I could leave it open because there's no air going back in. Since there's fluid, all the air is just rushing out. Perfect. Yeah, no more air bubbles at all for the last 3 times. We're good. All right, this side is done. All right, you can pump. Yeah, it's open. Damn. Holy shit. Just have it open. Alright, we're gonna bleed the clutch now, yo. You can pump it. Oh, wait, hold up. Oh my god, again. Pump it. It's on the floor. Yeah, you're gonna have to do it by hand at first. Yo, can you do me a favor and hit the record button on the camera? I figured out that the better way of mounting these bumpers is by removing the shock and then mounting the bumper after. But you live and you learn. It's time to tuck this bumper now. One of the very annoying things about building a car and just changing things up from a setup that previously worked is stuff like this turbo. It was brand new. It's a GT3582 off of eBay. Just the eBay turbo, $130. Nothing crazy, you know? But since I have that extended drain now, it's coming in contact with this beauty cover. So I kind of have to bend the beauty cover a little bit or try and reclock it a tiny little bit. It just needs a little bit more because I can't fully seat the turbo. Like it's sitting on the manifold, but it won't sit flat right there. So I gotta push this fitting over a little bit. But stuff like this takes so long, but it's just so annoying. I've had to loosen all the bolts on the turbo 3 times now. So this is gonna be the 4th time me clocking this damn turbo. And I'm gonna have to try and bring it a little closer towards this stud. Cause yeah, I don't really know what else I can do. Also, lastly, I went to FCP Euro and got a new one of these. Hammering down on the drive shaft is not a good idea, but whatever. You live and you learn. Good as new. There we go. All lined up. I'm gonna tighten these bolts to 60 foot-pounds from the nut side. That is so tight. Ow! Oh my god! Ow, my finger! Maybe that wasn't the best way to hold this shit in. Ow! Ow! You ever smash your finger so hard that it only starts hurting a minute after and it continuously gets worse? That was that one. I don't know what to do now. So basically my fitting, I think it's a 45. It's hitting on my exhaust manifold. And that's the reason why my turbo won't sit fully. And it's because of the extended drain. So the extended drain is gonna have to come off. But I don't have a gasket for my other drain. Like, this is so annoying. But it's one of those things. It's part of building cars. And I'm showing you guys the reality of it. Damn it, yo. So with the turbo sitting flush, it is very tight for any kind of fitting. Even if it's a straight, that thing is barely fitting in there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can use this. I really don't want to lose this bolt that holds this center cap on, because that would be just my luck. So I'm gonna put a pretty good amount of blue Loctite. I don't want it to be too tight though, but I don't think blue gets that tight. I'm gonna be generous. Every time I put this cap on, I'm gonna have to reapply Loctite, which kind of sucks, but it's the name of the game. This is gonna be spinning a lot. Since I ruined all of these terminals by crimping them too small, I went on Amazon and bought this Ev6 Connector Kit because they have the terminals and I couldn't find the terminals quickly. I'm just gonna use these. Amazon's crazy fast shipping is the GOAT for this one. Out of this whole kit, this is all I need. It's actually nice because I only need 12 of them, but since this is for an 8-cylinder, I got a few spares. I'm gonna crimp them with the biggest one first, the 16 by 14, just because it looks like it fits that one the best. So I'm gonna hit it with that and hope that that's enough. Now I gotta come in any terminal that's split, pick at it with this pick and peel it all off. Yeah, like look, this thing is literally ripped in half. This is what happened with all of them. That little piece is holding on by just a tiny little bit and not doing anything for the crimp. I guess I could just pull on them and they probably will come off. Easy as that. That's exactly why I wanted to change this. Injector Dynamics says that after the crimp should be just as strong as the wire, so you can pull on it as hard as you possibly can and it should not come off. These definitely will come off. Let's see. Here we go. So I used the 16 to 14, the biggest crimp on that crimper. I just made sure that as I was crimping it, both sides of the metal were crimping in at the same time and evenly. And it actually came out really clean and very solid. A lot better than before. Yeah, like now with this crimp, I'm pulling as hard as I can and I can't get it off. Ow! So that's very good. So as I'm crimping, I'm kind of turning it a little bit so I can make sure both start caving in on each other. Make sure that it's all in the middle. I'm like going at it at different angles. And then I can make the final crimp very hard now that I know that both pieces are fully centered. Damn, let's go. I finally figured it out because that came out so clean. And then for the seal, crimp there, and then it's a little loose on the big one, so I'll just come back in with the smaller seal crimp after it's already started. There we go. These two are super solid now. I hope you guys can see that clearly, but as long as I take my time, it'll come out clean. Just making sure they're both even before the crimp. It looks super good. I think I gotta go in more. Don't tell me it's not gonna work with this clip. Damn it, do I actually have to use the other clip? So I guess I am gonna be using the whole connector off of the painless kit because it only works with these. It wouldn't fully clip into this clip, so I'm gonna use this one. But this one is solid. It's like super accident proof. It has this blue clip here so you can't pull the wires out. And then it also has this that clips down once the injector is connected so that it can't get unplugged. It has two safeties that I really like, so I'm gonna use all of these. It just clips in, and then when I push this clip down, there we go. It's locked in, and it's that's a solid connector. But it looks a little crazy. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know, there's hella color now. Blue, gray, purple. Yeah, as long as you have the proper tool, this is a breeze. The first time I just erred on the side of smaller instead of bigger, which was clearly the wrong move. There we go. The injector harness is officially done, finally. Let me plug them all in, make sure they all plug in, and then I'll put the Tesla tape on everything. Damn, the wiring is super short. It doesn't look too bad. Let me just get the tape on there and call it a day because it is what it is. Boom, I got it all cleaned up with the tape and it looks actually pretty good. The blue, I don't really mind it. It's just one of those things. It's gonna blend in once it's in. The blue actually doesn't look too bad and the wiring actually is a little short, but it's sitting fine. It's like kind of wanted it to go down there, but that's fine. Finally, the injectors are tied in. And I can start the car again because that was the reason I couldn't start it. I never had a secured way to run these injectors. And this is the most official way you can possibly do it. When I mounted this boost controller, one of you guys told me that because I didn't have a foam between the mount and the actual boost controller, it would be very loud inside the cabin because what this Mac valve does is it just clicks really fast to regulate the amount of air that goes through it. And that will be very loud inside the cabin if it's hard mounted. So I'm gonna use some of this foam behind there. It might not even reach. I think this foam is too thick. I cut down the foam in half. Hopefully this fits. with these bolts. I don't want to get new bolts. Starting the threads on the boost controller and then dropping the foam back there worked perfectly. It's all bolted down and tight, and you can see the foam behind there, so that's gonna work perfectly. If you want to learn how a wastegate works, I highly recommend this article on onpointdyno.com. I read it over and it told me everything I needed to know about how this Mac valve works and how it should be plumbed in for turbo application. Basically, after all that reading, I figured out that I need the number 2 port, which is the common, to be connected to the wastegate, and then I need the number 3 port right here where this filter is to go to the turbo. So I'm gonna switch these around and leave it at that. If you want to find out why, I would highly recommend this article because it's kind of complicated to explain and I don't really know it that well. I can't remember if I swapped them, but I don't know why I have to do this. Like, it should have already been straight, but I don't know why it isn't. That's why it's like I had to do a lot of research to make sure, because I was like, why is it not where it should be? But whatever. I'm gonna put some of this thread sealant on. This one goes to the atmosphere, so I don't need to put sealant on that. The fittings are swapped. Now I can run this to the turbo. I used to have it around here, but now since that side is all wire tucked, I kind of want to follow theme and get that vacuum hose down there, but I never ran it down there for obvious reasons. It's very close to my exhaust manifold and hopefully it'll be fine. Annoyingly, this bottom left one stripped, so I'm coming in with a tap and trying to get it in. It was very annoying because since the hole was stripped a little bit at the start, the tap wouldn't sit straight, but I finally got it to sit straight. If these threads are messed up, I'm gonna be so... I really hope that this just works, but damn, yo. I'm getting tested on every single aspect of this build. I don't know if it's very noticeable, but those threads are on life support. I can't tighten those bolts too tight. All right, all the other bolts are tight. Let's see, I left the best one for last. Please don't strip. I just wanted to hold the gasket down a little bit. Right there, that's it. Oh shit! Yo! I'm so happy I caught that on camera. That was scary. If I would have fucking left that on that positive terminal, that would have electrocuted the fuck out of me too, I think. I'm gonna rewrap this downpipe because it's peeling off. I think it was rubbing right here. It's like leaving fiberglass dust everywhere. So I'm gonna change it out before it gets worse. Actually, I could make it go all the way under the exhaust manifold. Ah, what the fuck, yo? Peeled skin. I just punched the shit out of my turbo. I was just trying to show you guys the hose go on, but fuck that. The wastegate lines are fully in. I have zip ties on everything, but this hose goes down, around, and over to the boost controller right here. And then port number 2 goes down back into the bottom port of the wastegate. There we go. Downpipe is stained a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. In the computer now, I have to do this calculation. 6.49 times the result of the engine displacement divided by the number of injectors divided by the injector flow rate, and it gives me 3.0. I calculated my displacement by putting the bore size by the crankshaft stroke length by the number of cylinders. It gives me 2.9. So this is 2,958 cc is my engine. So I think everything is all set in the computer. By the way, this is VEM's standalone. It's an OBD2 standalone, so this software is only available for that. Am I hitting this? Fill her on up with some actual coolant. It's like half a gallon down. I'm gonna keep it going. I got the walkie all mixed up. I'm a changed man now.
Yeah. It went up to how much? It just went up to 25. 60 hours a weekend.
There's nothing I could do. Fuck! Wow, it was literally just loose. I was thinking that the line was ripped or some shit, but it, it was just that it was loose. It's running like shit. Hold on. It said that it was running at 400 RPM. How is it running at 400 RPM? I can't see an AFR rating. So it might be crazy lean, but it's normally it takes a few seconds to see an AFR reading. But like even my AM air fuel ratio, I couldn't see it. There was just 3 lines. So normally that means it's lean as fuck, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna try adding more fuel. I'm just gonna try adding more fuel and see if that is running so bad. It sounded a lot happier. I gave it more fuel and it was happy.
Definitely needed more fuel. It's stalling out though?
Huh?
It's stalling out by itself?
Yeah.
Give it a little bit more fuel.
That turbo feed is leaking a lot of oil. Yeah, it's just my turbo feed setup is bunk. Fuck.
Yeah.
As you can see, the turbo feed fitting is leaking a lot. So I need to figure that out. But I want to upload this video. This is so long. I just end up putting all the work in one video because all of us want to see it drive, but it has to go through all of the stuff that I did before getting there. Because the moment I get it to drive, none of this stuff is going to get done. So that's just always how it goes with cars. So I'm trying to do it the official way and get it proper so that we never have to do it again. That is the theory and that is the hope. I'm going to end the video here because I want to go into detail with this because I think it's very interesting and really cool to learn and show you guys this. But I need to basically retune the car on my own just to get the VEs good. And once the fueling is good, then it'll be fine on wastegate pressure. But since I have new injectors, I had to come in, and the reason why I was stumbling so hard and idling very horribly at 700 RPM was because it was just super lean. And I couldn't tell that it was super lean because the O2 heater wasn't on, but I turned it on. The lambda was reading right when I turned the car on. Because normally there's a 15-second delay. You gotta let the car turn on, let it go, let it heat up. But if there's not enough fuel, it's not gonna turn on. I hope that makes sense. But I had to come in here and give it a lot more fuel to get this car to start idling. And me having to increase it that much means that the dead times are wrong. So I'm gonna get into that next video. I'm gonna explain it properly and go very in detail on all of this. But that has to be next time. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Leave a like. Follow me on Instagram right here at E30Joel to stay up to date with everything I'm doing. And yeah, thank you for watching. I was thinking that I was gonna drive the car in this video, but since I need to retune it, I'm leaving it for next.